So the game kicks off with this dude in a cloak just straight up spraying bullets at everyone. The whole city is the arena, and there's a blimp floating above with the King of Spades card on it. Arisu figures out that if they want to get back to the real world, they've got to clear all the face card games. Arisu, Usagi, Quina, and Tata stick together, while Chisha and Anne split off on their own. Usagi's still struggling with her dad's death, and even admits she's not sure she wants to return. To extend their visas, they enter the King of Clubs game, and out of nowhere, Niragi shows up alive. That's when Kuma, the King of Clubs, introduces himself and his crew, and he drops the bomb that they're actually citizens of the Borderland, not just players. So we find out through some flashbacks that Kuma and his crew were literally a rock band before getting dragged into these deadly games. Fast forward to now, Kuma explains that every face card challenge is basically a death match against the card's citizens. Their game is called Osmosis, and the rules are simple but brutal. You score points by tagging people, finding random goodies hidden in shipping containers, or reaching the other team's base. Unless someone blocks you. At first, Arisu's squad is actually doing pretty well, but then Kuma's team flips the script. They're fearless, reckless, and don't care if they die, so they start racking up points like crazy. Next thing you know, they're up by 500. Meanwhile, Arisu's losing his mind trying to think of a comeback plan. And of course, Niragi, being the creep he is, goes straight for Usagi. As the clock's running out, Kuma and Arisu kind of vibe for a second. Like, they actually get each other. And that's when Arisu has this horrifying realization. Kuma and his crew weren't always citizens. They were players once too. Which basically means, even if you survive all this, do you ever really get to go home? With literally seconds left, he just asked Kuma for a handshake. But that tiny handshake cost Kuma points, and boom, Arisu's team steals the win. It only works because Tata, absolute MVP, crushed his own hand earlier to slip off his bracelet and hand it over to Arisu for that last score. And that sacrifice costs him his life. Kuma and his team, though, go out calmly, almost peacefully. Niragi, as usual, just dips from the group. Meanwhile, Chisha strolls into the Jack of Hearts game, which is basically a horror movie set in a prison. The rules are you gotta guess the card suit on the back of your collar, but the only info you get is from other players. Get it wrong, and you're dead. Oh, and the Jack of Hearts is secretly hiding among them, so it's basically a game of trust, lies, and survival. Chisha ends up figuring out the Jack of Hearts identity, this guy Enji, with the help of a serial killer and a con man. But instead of a clean win, things get dark. The two plan to torture Enji for answers, but he kills himself before they get the chance, which instantly ends the game. Back with the others, Quina decides to split off and search for Anne and Chisha, leaving Arisu and Usagi on their own. While out scavenging for food, Arisu and Usagi stumble across this community that's been completely wiped out by the King of Spades. They even find a recording where a woman admits the fireworks they saw before arriving weren't fireworks at all. Right then, the King of Spades ambushes them, forcing them to split up. Arisu barely makes it out alive, but he gets saved at the last second by a Goonie and this new badass character, Heya. We get Haya's backstory. She was the only survivor of her first game, the brutal 7 of Spades boiling death. But it cost her a leg. In the present, she joins forces with Arisu and a Goonie to take down the King of Spades. Their ambush doesn't work, though, and Arisu gets separated from them. Meanwhile, Anne pushes past the city limits, only to discover the whole area is boxed in by mountains. Basically, no way out. Quina survives the Jack of Spades game after fighting off everyone, but she's left completely on her own. Usagi comes across a little boy whose visa is running out, and decides to enter the Queen of Spades game with him. Arisu also shows up, and they finally reunite. The game, called Checkmate, is basically tag. You touch an opponent to pull them to your team, and whoever has the most players at the end wins. But Usagi's side starts slipping fast, since a lot of players choose to stay loyal to the Queen of Spades. Usagi calls out the other players, asking if they really want to stay trapped in the games forever, instead of fighting for a shot at starting fresh in the real world. Her words hit home, and the players finally turn against the Queen of Spades. With their help, Usagi's team wins. Afterward, Arisu and Usagi stumble across a hot spring in the ruins of a stadium. They take a moment to relax and it leads to a kiss, finally giving them a brief break from all the chaos. Meanwhile, Chishiya enters a new challenge, balance scale, alongside 3 others. Their opponent? Kuzuryu, the king of diamonds and a former beach executive. The game is all about logic and math, but for Kuzuryu, it's deeper than numbers. Once a lawyer, he's been wrestling with the idea of whether every life has the same worth. To test him, Chishiya straight up offers him the chance to kill him, but instead of pulling the trigger, Kuzuryu spares him, handing Chishiya the win. Quina and Anne team up again in the Queen of Clubs game and manage to survive together. By now, only 2 face card games are left, so everyone starts gathering in Shibuya for the final showdown. Things get messy fast when Naragi stirs up chaos and forces Arisu and Chishiya into a gunfight. Arisu ends up shooting Naragi, and Chishiya takes a bullet while saving Usagi. That's when the King of Spades shows up, and the real battle begins. Arisu sets a trap while Usagi, Quina, An, Aguni, and Heiya go head-to-head with the King of Spades. But he's too strong, and one by one they get overpowered. In the end, Aguni and Arisu manage to disable him with an explosive, and Aguni finishes him off with the final shot. With most of their friends gravely injured, Arisu and Usagi move on to face the very last game, the Queen of Hearts. Turns out Mira is the Queen of Hearts, and her final game is shockingly simple, a few rounds of croquet. Arisu just has to finish without quitting, no matter the score. But, of course, Mira makes it anything but simple. She admits she created that earlier hide-and-seek game just to mess with him, then starts playing mind games, trying to convince Arisu that everything he's been through is just a delusion, and he's actually stuck in a mental hospital. Arisu almost breaks, but Usagi literally pulls him back, slitting her wrist to snap him out of it. Their bond keeps him grounded, and together they make it through the final round. Mira accepts her defeat and is executed. Afterward, the remaining players are given a choice: stay in Borderland as permanent residents or decline. Those who refuse wake up in a hospital, revealed to be survivors of a meteorite strike with no memory of the games. In the end, Arisu and Usagi find each other at a vending machine, quietly walking away together. But the story doesn't end there. The final shot shows a Joker card on a table, hinting at something more to come.